Yeah.
Okay, how do I get back to where I need to be?
I'm glad that other people are as tech savvy as I
Okay,
am.
hey guys, hang in there. Where do I go?
You can X out of that. You don't need that.
Okay.
We need to get an 8-year-old.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
I was going to say, someone about 20 or under.
Hey, Lowell.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Where's the? Oh,
Okay.
here we go. Gallery view. That's what you.
There we
want.
go.
Now you can see everybody.
Okay. Thank y'all for being here tonight. My name is Ashley Vickers. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Greenbrier Chamber of Commerce. We are sponsoring this event this evening. We are featuring our candidates for County Commission. So we have Dan Withrow and Lowell Rose with us tonight. Dan is running on the Democratic ticket and Lowell is with the Republicans. Just a little disclosure here, the Greater Greenbrier Chamber of Commerce is an apolitical organization. So we don't promote or support or endorse any candidates or legislation. We simply are here just to educate the community and let them know the issues that are going on in the Greenbrier Valley. So with that being said, I also want to thank Ethan Sir from GVT for getting us up on here today because it was a treat and it has not been easy. So welcome to 2020 and how we operate these days. So also thank you for GVT for letting us host this event here tonight with Kathy Sawyer. And anyways, sorry. So here we are. So we have got questions that have been submitted by the public to the chamber office. So we really haven't decided how we were going to start with who's answering the questions. We will do a coin flip. And Mr. Paul Detch, who is the chairman of the Democratic Party for Greenbrier Valley, or Greenbrier County, is here with us tonight. So he's gonna dig for a coin here.
And we're going to let you see that it has both sides.
Okay,
It
so
has.
we got little heads and tails.
Who's who?
Who's who? I don't even know. Okay, so how do we decide that? Who wants to be heads? Who wants to be tails?
Let Dan pick which he wants to be. That's fine.
I'll go with tails. Can I defer to the second half or decide which end of the field I want?
It's
Whatever
heads.
you want to do, Dan, that's fine.
It is heads. Okay, so I hope everybody's been able to like hop on YouTube and News Talk Radio 97.3 with Radio Greenbrier to join us this evening. Okay, so Lowell, the first question will go to you. How do you plan to support the growth in tourism industry in Greenbrier County over the next 6 years?
The growth of the tourism industry. I've been working with the CVB for the last several years. I was on the CVB, and then when I took the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development County Commission on that, I let Tammy Tincher take the position with the CVB. But we've been working closely together. We've supported the CVB funding wise. Of course, half of the hotel motel tax goes to them. Also, we deferred the payment on the money that they had borrowed from us for this year. I supported that so that they could have money to do more other work with and to operate. We help with all the things on the CVB that we can. Also, I've got in the last couple of years since I've been president of the county commission, I've had the CVB, the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development, the airport, and others working together to do the work toward increasing tourism, flights at the airport, change the attitude a little bit on economic development. Economic development is not only business, but it's also tourism related. And so they're working together very well now.
Well, first of all, guys, I was so excited about like our first chamber event that I did not even allow y'all to do your openings statements. So let's back that up. And Commissioner, I will let you, so how we're going to do this today is our opening statements are going to be 3 minutes, and you will have 2 minutes to answer your questions, and then we'll do 2 minutes for closing statements. So Commissioner Rose, you have 3 minutes for your opening statement, and I apologize for that, y'all. So go ahead, Lowell.
Okay. Well, I didn't really prepare a long opening statement. I'd like to start by saying that there are three commissioners on the commission at any one time. One commissioner can't do anything. You have to work together, and we have worked together. The present commission has a pretty good working relationship. We don't always agree on all aspects of everything, but we work everything out. We've tried in the past 6 years, I've tried to, as I said in my opening answer there, that tried to get the different entities in the county, instead of working singularly, each one, to working together. And just a little on the personal side, I've been married now for 37 years. My wife and I live just outside of Rossford on our 80-acre farm. I like to work in my greenhouse and gardening. I have a Model A Ford car that we take to shows and display. We go to Mount Vernon United Methodist Church, and I'm very active in the church as far as opening before COVID hit. Let's preface that. I opened the sermons for our preacher, read scriptures and everything, and then he would come up and do the sermon itself. And also helped out as Sunday school superintendent when needed, and taught and teach the senior class at church. I've also been involved in various things like the Masonic Lodge, the Greenbrier Valley Shrine Club, the Gideon's International Greenbrier Camp of the Gideon's International, which I'm very active in right now. And I've been involved in the Penny Pitch project since 1976 when I was in the JCs. It started about that time, about a year before I got into it, it started. So I've been there helping with that for 42, 43 years consecutively now. So I do a lot of things in the community outside of just the county commission work.
And thank you, Lowell. All right, Dan, you have 3 minutes for your opening statement.
Okay, well, first of all, Ashley, I'd like to thank you and the chamber for this opportunity. We are dealing with difficult times with COVID, and the world's turned upside down. We're right in the middle of it. I would like to do an intro. I am Dan Withrow. I'm a lifelong resident of Greenbrier County. I have a 2-year associate degree in business from National Business College in Renwick, Virginia. I have a bachelor's degree in education and also a master's in exercise physiology from WVU. I have been a board member of the Greenbrier Public Service District for 30 plus years. I've been chairman of that board for the past 15 years. We've dealt with many multi-million-dollar projects, sewer extension projects, and we're getting ready to expand sewer into the Rolling Hills neighborhood. I've owned multiple businesses over the past 30 years, and I've been involved in multiple community projects. I was co-founder of the River Festival. I started the ASA Travel Ball. I coached cross country 5 years at Greenbrier East. I've been a referee. I've been an umpire. Multiple community projects that I've been involved in personally, and just feel like I can, bring a lot to the position of county commission.
Thank you, Dan. All right, Dan, now I'll allow you to answer that first question that I tossed out there. So how do you plan to support and grow the tourism industry in Greenbrier County over the next 6 years?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is certainly, I've spent a lot of time talking to Kara and her group, and what they do is really, really amazing. They've done a wonderful job marketing Greenbrier County. And I think we need to, looking at what's happened with COVID, I think it is a perfect opportunity right now to market the outdoor recreational opportunities we have in the Greenbrier Valley. We have the Greenbrier River, which is the only major tributary east of the Mississippi that does not have a dam. We have the Greenbrier River Trail, which is rated as one top 10 rails to trails in the country. I would just love to see, and I think by bringing the communities together, you look at what's happened in Lewisburg, you look at what's going on in White Sulphur, we'd like to see those things, same things happen with Ronsford and Alderson and the western end of the county, and become, the Greenbrier Valley and the Meadow River Valley, and market those as tourism destinations. And you just look at, we've got, the Greenbrier, we've got the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine, which brings people in. And there really is just very few outdoor opportunities that we do not have here in the Valley. And I really feel that this is a perfect time for all of us to come together and market this whole Valley, this whole county as one.
Thank you, Dan. All right, Lowell, the next question for you is, what are you going to do to better support the county EMS and fire departments?
Well, basically on the Greenbrier, for the Greenbrier County, we set the areas that they service, each fire department. We set the boundaries for them. We also set the boundaries for the EMS services. We do support them. Our 911 Emergency Services Director, Mike Honecker, he is kind of in charge of that part of the county stuff. But we encourage, they have meetings, we have a commissioner on that board, and we help them with different areas of the county that we need to service. Whenever an EMS service is in trouble, we've had several in the last over the years to die down. Of course, Williamsburg EMS went out. Anthony EMS went out, and different ones. So their service area has grown. Also, the service area for Greenbrier ambulance service in Fairleigh has grown. And we support them. We have meetings with them, work with them quite a bit. We work with the fire departments on their areas and things like that. We've attempted in the past to see exactly how their finances go and what we need to do to work with them in the future. And we've also worked with our state representatives on things like the workman's compensation and things that really cost them a lot of money. We worked with our sheriffs and the police to try to cut down the amount of time that they have to be out on calls, because that directly affects their workman's comp cost. So we've worked with them, and in the future, at some point, we may end up not taking over any of them, but having to where the county has to have more involvement with each and every one of them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Your time is up. So you will hear like a little bell or a chime. So we'll give you a 15-second heads up before your 3 minutes or your minute and a half is up. Sorry. Pardon? 2 minutes, y'all. 2 minutes. My Lord, I'm having a hard time here today. Okay. And to you, Dan, same question. Where did I go here? What are you going to do to better support the EMS and fire departments as county commissioner?
Well, I've had some discussions. I've met with Mike Honecker, and I've talked to several other people, and still have other people to meet with the fire and the ambulance service. I really feel that one of the keys to this is going to be cooperation. I feel like everyone needs to get their head together, come together, and try to find common ground on what is the best to serve the people of Greenbrier County. And what you have to realize with these two entities, with the fire department, the ambulance service, they are such a critical service to all citizens of Greenbrier County. And, somehow, some way, we have to make sure that the people in Williamsburg, the people in Quinwood, the people in the outreaching areas, I think we feel comfortable here in the Fairleigh, Lewisburg, White Sulphur area that if there's a call, you can get to it quickly. But, we need to look at the things, what can we do to make sure that, the people in the outlying areas do not have to wait a half hour, 45 minutes, for an ambulance to arrive. And I think that would come with maybe some central control, and like I say, everybody getting together and do what's best for the citizens. I tell people, you and I do not have to agree on everything, but I think if everybody comes around the table and gets their heads together, that we can come to some kind of common ground, some kind of thing that works for everybody and that's beneficial for everybody in the county.
Thank you, Dan. All right, the next question is for the commissioner. What can the commission do to better support the airport and get rid of the negative press our airport has received recently?
I worked continuously with the airport and helped them. They have had some lumps over the last couple of years. The initial airport manager, Colonel John Gwynn, was an excellent manager, and he got the airport off to a great start. No one ever left the airport. They would either retire or they would pass away still working there. My wife worked there for about 16, 18 years. And then she's been going from there for about 25 years now. But the airport board that we have right now and the airport manager we have right now, and I've worked closely with the airport over the last couple of years, and it's been in the papers a lot and everything, but we've changed the management, we've changed the board members, and right now our airport has probably got the best overall management that it's had in the last 25 years. The board members are excellent. They are working together, pulling together. Our new manager is a very professional, experienced airport manager, and they are both working together. I've been working with them. Commissioner Tincher works with them. She is on the board up there, and helping them with projects, helping them with funding, meeting with government officials to when they're in town to try to help get flights and funding for the airport and projects, the runway projects, different things, and get those funded. So I've been very active with the airport over the last 2 years since I've been president of the commission. And I was active before that, but definitely for the last 2 years.
Thank you. Dan, I'll repeat the question. What can the commission do to better support the airport and get rid of the negative press our airport has received recently?
Well, it's sad that with this negative press that it really is, we're hearing more of one side than the other. And I think all this in time, I know the FBI has cleared most of their investigation, found that there was nothing serious going on there. And I think now they're waiting for the FFA to give the final clearance. And I think once that's done, it's going to kind of rectify some of those things themselves. And I'll reiterate what Lowell said about, the management. I think you've got a great management, great leadership there. And I think the county, as a county commissioner, you just continue to support it and, let the public, I think one of the big things in a public position is you need to have more transparency. We need to let the public know what is going on, what the reality is. And I think there's always going to be someone that's trying to stir up the negative things in a situation like that. And we just need to, as a county commission, you would just need to stay positive, stay connected, stay involved, and keep an open line of communication between the airport and the citizens of Greenbrier County.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, the next question is, what is your standing on approving future TIF projects? And are there any projects presently pending that you support?
Yes, we extended the TIF really in the last couple of years. The original TIF was set up to go from for about 20 years, 25 years. We extended another 10 years. Currently, we've got $20 million worth of projects being engineered and designed. We're voting tomorrow on the first one of the projects, new projects, which is to extend sewer to Caldwell and also the Caldwell Drainage Project. And the sewer project was one of the original projects, but I added the drainage into it. The citizens in Caldwell, of course, is a town. It's not a municipality. And therefore, it's not like Lewisburg, Ronsford or anything where they can do things on their own. I had added in the drainage because from the floods and various things, the ditch lines and roads have gotten to the point where the water is standing under homes, and every time it rains, everybody has to pump out from under their homes. This drainage project will take care of the drainage and water and help the citizens with the water issues that they're having, and the sewer will help with the river itself, actually, because when you have the size yards and the size septic systems that most of the older homes down there have are extremely small, and they were passed or approved back 40 years ago, 50 years ago. They don't meet current standards, and you get some of that bacteria goes into the groundwater and into the river, and that's part of our problem with the mossy look of the river in the summertime. Also, we've got City White Sulphur Springs. We've got water projects where they're losing about 60% of the water. We've got water projects. We've got sewer projects. We've got water upgrade projects, and we've got drainage upgrade projects. We're also going to use part of, if I can work things out with the city of Lewisburg, connect the water system in White Sulphur in Lewisburg, so that if there's a spill into the Greenbrier like there was a couple of years ago, and Lewisburg has shut the intake down, we can have another source of water so the town's not out of water in a day and a half like it was. Also, we have
Commissioner, I'm gonna have to stop you. Your time is up.
okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Dan, do you want me to repeat the question for you?
Please.
Okay. What is your standing on approving future TIF projects? And are there any projects presently pending that you support?
You know, I certainly do support the TIF, and you can just look at, you know, the projects that have been completed. I know the sewer project is one of them, and having 30 years experience on the Greenbrier PSD #1, I know we looked at offering sewer to Caldwell, and it really was just non-feasible for our district, you know, because of the river. But I'm 100% behind, you know, TIF, what they've done. Again, you just look at what, you know, with this sewer expansion, you look at the new sewer plan, and I will say that that plan has had a very positive effect on the algae bloom in the Greenbrier River. And I know there's potential for one project there. There's talked about some TIF money that would somehow benefit and bring in broadband to this area, to White Sulphur, which also would benefit the people, not just in White Sulphur, but in outlying areas, Lewisburg, western end of county, et cetera, et cetera. So I do support it.
Thank you, Dan. All right, Commissioner, what projects, organizations will you allocate hotel motel tax funds if you're reelected?
We've been giving $350,000 to $450,000 out every year continuously to the folks around the county. We support the little leagues. We support the small fairs and festivals. We support Carnegie Hall. We support the theater every year. We supported all those. We support historical preservation throughout the county, and preservation projects. And also I've mentioned the possibility of additional funds for historic projects, preservation projects, since we have so many of them in the county. But we have supported all those, and we've continually given out a large sum of money from that fund, and we will continue to do that.
Thank you. Dan, I'll repeat the question for you. What projects, organizations will you allocate hotel motel tax funds if you are elected?
Well, you know, I think you certainly would want to continue the ones that are out there. You look at Greenbrier Valley Theater, you look at Carnegie Hall, you look at the festivals, you look at 4-H, you look at the libraries. There's just a multitude of organizations out there that deserve this money. But the one concern I have, Ashley, is with that $2 million that's already been spent at the Sportsplex, and I know there's about $1 million left in that account. About half of that is going to be spent before the end of 2020. And my concern is I'm not sure that these organizations we've talked about, the libraries, the Greenbrier Valley Theater, and all these, the 4-H, the Greenbrier Youth Camp, I'm just not sure how much money is going to be available as a result of the money that's been spent on that Sportsplex to give these organizations. I feel, unfortunately, that's going to have to be cut this year, and unfortunately.
Thank you, Dan. So let's talk about the Sportsplex. What is your position, Commissioner? What is your position on the continued development and funding of the Sportsplex north of Lewisburg? What benefit, if any, will it have on this community?
The benefits will be great to the community once the Sportsplex is finished. The Sportsplex will bring in people from all over the country, just like we have traveling teams that have traveled for many years, and as Dan knows, because he's been part of that, going all over the country. And these folks spend anywhere from $800 to a couple $1,000s on a weekend trip out of state or out of the area. Our Greenbrier Girls Softball League spends $20,000 at Covington to put on tournaments because we don't have a place here in the county for them to put on a tournament. And you cannot send people from town to town to town to do tournaments. You have to have a central place. We've had some different things at the hotel, at the complex that have caused a little bit of heartache, but right now everything's doing well. We've had crews out there the last couple of weeks, hydro seeding and take care of drainage issues, things like that. We've met with the principals of the companies that are taking care of that, our engineering and our construction companies, and they have taken on themselves to correct a lot of problems out there and things. But the funding for that, there has been one thing I've heard that I want to dispel is all the money that's been spent there comes from the hotel motel tax, which comes from out of town people coming in and staying mainly at the Greenbrier, 99.9% of it. And so there's been no tax money spent on that. Another thing, as far as financing, I have plans to set up a group, a leader control group, to go after private donations and grants. We've done everything we've done so far strictly out of pocket and haven't spent any taxpayer money as far as tax money that's paid in by the taxpayers. But we need a steering committee. I've got some private investors that have promised funds for it. I've had people ask to be on the steering committee for it, and that's where we're headed to next. As Dan kind of alluded to, we plan to still.
Commissioner, your time is up. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
Thank you. Dan, I'll repeat the question for you. What is your position on the continued development and funding of the sports complex north of Lewisburg? What benefit will it provide to the community?
Well, Ashley, I'll first say that I am in favor of the sportsplex. However, I am not in favor of the location. I am not in favor of the money being spent. And I want to clarify one thing. A lot of people confuse the aquatic center with the sportsplex and understand that aquatic center is privately funded. The sportsplex today, they have spent $2 million already. They need another $4 to $6 million to complete this project. There is no public utilities there. There are no amenities, and it has very poor access. The state fair offered them 45 acres free of charge, which they never even acknowledged. And my concern is this project is never going to be completed. David Hammond did a study on this. He worked on the Shawnee Sports Complex, said based on the revenues that's available for that facility, it will take 30 years to complete. As a public service district board member, we wrote them a letter in 2016, the commissioners at that time stating, you have no public sewer there, and you probably will not for the next 5 to 10 years. And also, to my knowledge, there was no community input in that project, and there is no operating budget. They cannot tell you what it's going to take to operate that on an annual basis. I have done studies. I met with the James River Sports Complex at Covington, which is an amazing complex. Just their salaries alone is $385,000 a year. I have no clue where that money is to come from to continue that operation. I think three things. I'm in favor of it. It needs to be done in the right place. It needs to be done at the right time, and it needs to be done in the right way.
Thank you, Dan.
Ashley, have I allowed time to respond to that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I will give y'all each a minute to respond to that.
Okay, as far as the location I think is a great location. We have 143 acres. It takes 88 acres just to do the 5 soccer fields and 4 baseball fields that we've got in our parking lots. Currently, we've got all the basic grading done. We're graveling the parking lots, and that material was donated to us by the airport. It was material that they had from jobs that they needed to get rid of. There are a lot of different ways that I am able to conserve money and get a project done for less than like the Shawnee project. Shawnee project was just, money was thrown out like crazy. We're not doing that. It might take us a little longer to do the project than would someone had a big fund, but we will get this project up and going. The location next to the landfill, it's 4 miles from the interstate. It's 2-lane road, and the road from the top of the hill to the sports complex has just been redone and repaved. So our in the State Fair area.
Commissioner, your time is up. I'm sorry. Dan, would you like to respond to any of that? You have a minute if you'd like to.
Well, what I will do is I will ask all the citizens of Greenbrier County, if you have concerns about the location of this project, please drive out there and look at that location. Come back and feel free to call me and share your concerns. I have talked to literally hundreds of people, citizens in Greenbrier County. I have found one person that is in favor of that location. I want to know too is how are you going to deal with the sewer and the water? I know Mayor Manchester at the time said there's no water accessibility to that project. There's no sewer to that project. I just personally feel it is not a good location. The one in Covington, they spent $1.6 million to complete that project. It is a beautiful project, and
you have 15 seconds, Dan.
And I really feel that you look at the aquatic center being State Fair. It is located close to all the schools, the population. You have restaurants, you have public utilities, and you have parking, etc.
Thank you, Dan. Well, and there was also a follow-up with this. Y'all answered the question about being, if you were in favor of the location of the complex. There was another part of this question. It says, do you think that money could have gone to support local teachers as opposed to going to the sports complex?
Teachers? Excuse me?
That was just a question. It was about the location. If you thought that money would be best supported going to teachers.
That is that money is hotel motel tax money, and it is specific. It can be used for arts, historic preservation, and athletics are part of the county's part of that money. There's no way to give that money to teachers. We do support the libraries out of that. We've given them $90,000 a year every year and things like that. But we do, as far as giving the money to teachers, I don't know of any possibility. While I've still got some time, I will say that the State Fair, and I tried to work with Marlene Piercy when she, Marlene Jolliffe, when she was at the fairgrounds, and we were going to put a pool and all that down there. When I was on the commission the first time, I even had it designed, and then my fellow commissioners shot that down. But the current location that they wanted to give us was going to be very hard to grade out. There's a steep hillside and a bunch of sinkholes, and like I say, the parking was going to have to even be in the grassed area of the fairground. So that area wasn't going to work for us. Wasn't going to give us enough location. We have it takes 17 acres just for the quadruplex, much less the ball fields and everything. Like I say, we're developing 88 acres up there. But as far as how we could use that for the teachers, that question, that monies cannot be used for educational purposes, or we cannot donate money, the county, to the school system.
Okay.
I can't give money to Greenbrier East for the football fields. We can give money to town. It either has to be city-owned, municipal-owned, or county-owned property for us to put any money into it.
All right. Thank you, Lowell. I appreciate that. Dan, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I would like, and I think Lowell said it, that money is hotel motel, and it is mandated by the state where you cannot spend it. And teachers, unfortunately, is not one area that you can spend it. But I will add, Lowell made the comment about the fields being too far apart to have tournaments. And here's my feelings: if we would have taken some of that $2 million and upgraded the fields in the small towns in Ronsford, Lewisburg, Alderson, White Sulphur, Raynell, we could start hosting these softball, baseball, and soccer tournaments in these small towns, which would be beneficial to the small towns. And then from there, we could determine if it's a feasible thing. I was one of the co-founders of the ASA Travel Ball. We traveled up and down the East Coast, and we would play one game in a field and have to jump in the car and go 45 minutes to an hour to the next field to play. So I think it is very feasible, very possible that we could utilize the existing fields we've got, and then down the road look and see, okay, is this area ready to sustain a full-size sportsplex?
Thank you, Dan. All right, we've got a couple questions remaining here. Commissioner, what is your stance on supporting the Greenbrier Humane Society?
I've supported the Greenbrier Humane Society. I was on the board at the Humane Society my first term of office. This term, I have helped to make sure that they are funded by the county at $200,000 a year. That was the amount that was agreed on. Our contract stayed with them. I've ran interference with one of our commissioners that has been dead set against helping the Humane Society. I have a very good working relationship with the Humane Society, and making sure that they get their funding every year. That's I don't even put that on the table. That's pretty much an automatic that we fund them. One good thing about the Humane Society, when I was on the commission the first time, we were euthanizing over 5,000 animals a year. And now with the spay neuter things that the Humane Society is doing, and the taking the animals to different places to have groups that will find them homes, it's so much better now than it used to be. We don't have animals being dropped along the road as much, and we don't have the feral animals that we had. Humane Society's done a great job, and I think we've partnering with them. That takes care of the animals that our animal control officer brings in. It also takes care of the animals that are dropped off there by people around the county. So we have a great working relationship between the county and the Humane Society at this point.
Thank you, Commissioner. Dan, what is your stance on supporting the Greenbrier Humane Society?
Well, I think Lowell said it very well, that, you know, the funding that's there, it certainly needs to be continued. And, you know, I think it's like any other organization. As time goes on, they're going to need additional funding, and I would be in 100% favor of continuing the funding that's there presently, and you know, just continue to support it as much or more than what is supported now, as much as the budget will allow. So I am 100% behind that organization. It's amazing what they do, and I want to shout out to Jennifer Runyon and everybody that's at that organization. What an amazing job they do. Keep up the good work, and if elected as a commissioner, I guarantee you've got my support.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, we have one more question, and then we will start with our closing statements. Okay, Commissioner, do you believe the construction in Fairleigh that is part of the Medical Access Road Program to be good use of CARES Act funding? Why or why not?
Regardless of the funding, it is a very necessary project. The ponding at the corner of the fairgrounds has caused a lot of wrecks. People come around there and hit that water and tear out the fence at the fairgrounds. All the water from up at the upper streets crosses 219 North, comes down and ends up down at the lower end of all those streets, the water ponds. That drainage project has been needed for a long, long time. The old culverts were getting plugged up with silt and collapsing from age and rotting out. So it's a very necessary project to keep access. And the reason it's been funded through the CARES Act is they want to keep access and make sure the access and safety of the access to the hospital and to the other doctor clinics and things in that area is accessible, especially to emergency services vehicles going through there. And so I think it's a great project. The funding source, when you've been in the public domain like we are at county and the state is, whenever you can come up with money to do a project, and especially a badly needed project, you get that funding, you take that funding. But the CARES Act, the reason it's been used for this, because it was getting to be so dangerous and the drainage was in such bad need. Ambulances and other vehicles going through there, the fire departments and everything. The safety factor will be greatly enhanced by this drainage. So I'm very happy that they are doing it, and it's probably a long time past due that we needed it.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Dan, I'll repeat the question for you. Do you believe the construction in Fairleigh that is part of the Medical Access Road Program to be good use of the CARES Act funding? Why or why not?
Well, I feel that it is. I think that's one of those things as far as the funding goes that as a county commission, you would have little or no control over. And I think as Lowell said, it's certainly anybody that's driven through that section of the road in high water and heavy rains, it is a safety hazard. And certainly with the high school, the hospital, the junior high, the middle schools, the schools that are there, I don't think there's any question it's a great project. And I think that might lead into it's a good time to look and think about, talking about the road system. And I know this is unrelated to the CARES, but at some point, I think this area we need to bring back up the potential for a bypass. I mean, we've got a traffic situation that's not going to get any better as time goes on. But, again, I think that CARES funding and spending is really out of our control. But if it's not spent there, it would be spent somewhere else.
Thank you, Dan. All right, gentlemen. Well, that was the end of our questions. So at this time, we will begin with our closing statements. Dan, I will let you start since the commissioners began with the opening. So Dan, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Well, again, I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. If elected, I have one thing about myself. I have been running for 45 years and I've not missed a day of running in over 36 years. The last day I did not run was December the 26th, 1983. And what I will say to the citizens of Greenbrier County, if I am elected as your county commission, I will bring to the county commission the same dedication I've given to my running for the last 36 to 45 years. Will bring common sense and years of experience to the commission. And I really think transparency is important. I am open-minded. I'm willing to listen to the citizens of Greenbrier County. And I really do feel that it's a perfect time for me to get involved and become a county commission and do what I can, do what's best for the citizens of Greenbrier County.
Thank you, Dan. Commissioner Rose, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Well, there are several projects we didn't get to discuss tonight. Really hope people would ask questions about. One of them, we've completed the water line to Sam Black Church, and we put out $50,000 for the preliminary engineering study, and we are currently looking for small cities block grant funding and other funding to bring that water from Sam Black to Alton down to Asbury for the people through Clintonville that have always struggled to have plenty of water. There's the Quinwood Tower that we've worked on getting in for the broadband in that area, so that school kids out there and everyone in that area will have broadband. There's just several more projects that we've got going on. I was kind of totaling up the other day, in between the TIF projects, the water project out there, the addition we're doing at the courthouse and upgrades that we're doing at the courthouse, I've probably got around somewhere in the neighborhood of $45 to $50 million where the project started. A lot of them are funded. The major ones funded with the TIF project. Broadband coming into the county, we're working on that. We can blend that in from bringing it from Beckley through the county. We can also take it out to every part of the county, and that's fiber. That's what we're looking for. You can't bring businesses into the county until you have fiber and broadband access. They'll ask you all these questions, but the only one that counts, first one thing they'll say, if you got fiber and broadband, if you say no, they just go somewhere else. So there's a lot of things that I've got started, projects that I want to see finished the next 6 years. It'll take about 6 years. Funding for projects takes a long time, and we're very lucky to have the TIF and be able to use that for funding in the projects from the county line in White Sulphur through Lewisburg. And we've already, like I say, started getting funding to come with water from the other areas, broadband and other things. So we're really trying to, I want to finish up these projects. And that's my main reason for wanting another 6 years. In fact, I think we've done a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I want to thank both of y'all for joining us this evening, and to those that tuned in, big thanks to Ethan Sir from GVT for getting us connected tonight, and to Radio Greenbrier News Talk 97.3 for broadcasting this live for us as well. Please join us tomorrow night, where we will be hosting our House of Delegates debate. We will be here at 5:30 to 7. So please tune in and join us. Once again, thank you, Commissioner Rose and Dan Withrow, for joining us tonight. Best of luck to y'all.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you all
You're
putting this
welcome.
on.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and we'll see y'all back here tomorrow night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
No. Maybe.
We're off the air now.